Carnation Evaporated Milk presents the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show.
From here. You know there won't be another bus along for 15 minutes.
Oh, Blanche, I'm too tired to wait that long. Let's walk home.
5 miles? We can't walk that far.
Well, we can take turns. One walk while the other one is resting.
No, honey, I think we better call a cab. Say, by the way, you never did tell me why your car's in the repair shop today.
Oh, Blanche, I'm so angry about that. You know, I kept hearing these announcements on the radio. This man would say, "Is there water in your gasoline?" And then there was a big ad in the newspaper that said, 3 out of 5 have water in their gasoline.
Yeah?
Well, I heard so much about it, I decided to try
it. You put water in your gasoline?
Yeah, but don't you fall for that silly advertising. The car wouldn't run at all. Oh, Blanche, look at this cute hat in the window. Let's go in and try some on.
Oh, but honey, you said you had to get home for that interview.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about that man coming to the house.
Yeah. Say, Gracie, what's it all about?
Well, he's writing a picture on the cavalcade of Vaudeville, and one sequence is going to be all about George and me, about our early days in Vaudeville and how we met and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's wonderful. Say, Gracie, how did you and George meet?
Oh, Blanche, it was so romantic.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in San Francisco, and George played the Mission Theater there. He did an act with a trained seal, and I sat through 4 shows.
Was he good looking?
Oh, the best looking thing you ever saw. And George was cute, too. Don't look now. But there's a man in that window getting very familiar with that woman.
Gracie, she's a dummy.
Well, she certainly is to let him get away with that. Hey, mister.
Gracie.
Hey, you. Hey. Mister, you ought to be ashamed of yourself carrying on like that, right in this store window when all these people are passing by.
Gracie, honey.
Yeah, and as for you, you shameless hussy, you ought to put more clothes on or you'll freeze to death.
Well, relax, honey. You chased him out of the window and he took her with him.
Yeah, she must have been drinking. When he carried her out, she was as stiff as a board.
Honey, he's a window dresser.
Well, that's certainly no place to do it.
No, you don't understand. He works there, you see.
Oh, I wish George was here. I'd send him in there to give that man a good punch.
Honey, you can't do that. The man
Hello,
is...
girls. What are you doing downtown?
Oh,
Mr.
Harry,
Zell.
will you do me a favor? Will you go in there and give that man a good punch for me?
For you, Gracie? You bet I will. Point him out to me.
Well, he's a big, tall fellow. He was right over there.
Oh, he's a big one. Is it? Well, maybe I better not. You know, when I get into fights, I don't know my own strength.
You don't?
No, I always get murdered. I'm in a hurry to get home.
Say, Mr. Zell, would you drop Gracie and me at our house?
Well, I'd be glad to.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Aren't we lucky, Gracie?
I know.
My car's right over here. Gracie!
Well, hello! Oh, dear. I'm so glad to see you. How have you been?
Oh, fine. And you?
Just wonderful. Well, let me take a look at you. You know, you haven't changed a bit.
Neither of you. Well, Gracie, it's been fine to see you.
Oh, thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye. Now, remember, keep in touch. Bye.
I will.
Goodbye. Bye. Who's that?
Who was that?
Yeah.
Gracie, do you mean to
Mr.
say that you...
Zell. Let's get going, huh?
Oh.
about the way Gracie kissed that man on the street and didn't even remember him? He was only the best man at our wedding. Only one of our closest friends. Like one of our relatives. We played the Orpheum circuit with him. When you'll recognize his name the minute I mention it. His name is, well, anyway, as I was saying, we didn't know him very well. Yes. Poor Gracie. You know, I wish she was home. We've got this man coming over to interview us, but she's not here. Even when she is here, she isn't all here. But there's always enough of her here to make it worthwhile. This man who's coming over to interview us, his name is Barney Dean. He's doing a picture on the rise and fall of vaudeville, and it's quite a compliment to be included. He thinks Gracie and I had a lot to do with it, and I guess he's right. Gracie had a lot to do with the rise, and, yeah, vaudeville. What a business. It was quite a school. Developed a lot of fine actors. We were all one big family. Everybody knew one another, and if an actor needed money, he always had to get it from the outside because we all knew one another. You know what Gracie said about me working with the Seal is true. I used to do an act called Flipper and Burns. The Seal got top billing. Wasn't easy to work with Flipper. Had no place to leave him. Had to take him with me every place I went. You'd be surprised how many girls turn you down for a date when you say, "Can you bring along a Seal for my roommate?" A year after that, I worked with Gracie. That was, Hoover was president. I know because Gracie thought we had a vacuum cleaner in Washington. You know, incidentally, from the direction our money is heading, maybe it's still there. Anyway, we played the Myrtle Theater in Brooklyn. That was our first date. Oh, Blanche Morton.
George, I've got some lunch for you.
How about putting it right here, Blanche?
Oh, hi.
What's the idea of you fixing lunch? Where's Gracie?
Oh, she'll be here. Don't worry.
Oh? Where is she? You know, there's a man coming over to interview us.
Yeah, well, she knows all about it. She'll be here.
Where is she, Blanche?
Well, we passed an auction on our way home, and they were auctioning off a set of used books, and Gracie went in to get them.
Why, used books?
Well, she says she likes books that somebody else has read because then she doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I hope she gets here in time. And thanks. This looks delicious.
Oh, you're welcome.
Blanche, it's the best lunch you ever fixed me. I couldn't eat another bite.
George, I'll get you some
George.
coffee.
Oh, maybe that's Gracie.
Yeah, hold that for you.
Okay, Harry.
George has to go answer the phone. I'm just holding this for him.
That's like asking your cat to mind your goldfish. Put that meat down.
All right. It's down.
Harry, leave George's lunch alone. He's upset enough already about Gracie not being here for that picture interview.
Oh, he ought to be happy she'd only loused it up.
Let me tell you something. If it weren't for Gracie, George not only wouldn't be in a picture, he wouldn't even have the price to see one.
Now, just a minute. You seem to forget that before George met Gracie, he was a single. He worked alone.
I know. Then after Gracie joined him, they started having an audience.
Women kill me. You're all alike. You seem to think that you're responsible for your husband's careers.
Oh, not me. I'm not taking the blame for yours. Now, Harry, I told you not
Now,
to...
wait a minute. You seem to forget that I have a very high standing in my own profession. You remember I had my picture in the real estate section of Time magazine? Right next to McKessop's.
That was only because you sold him a lot for $2,000, and a week later he sold it for $2 million.
Well, how'd I know that black stuff was oil?
You mean to tell me with your appetite you didn't taste it?
Stop nagging me, Blanche.
Well, sometimes you need it. You know something? You're your own worst enemy.
No, I'm not. Not since I married you.
Now, Harry, leave something for George,
Oh.
honestly, get out of there. Come on. I never saw anything like it.
I'm ready to have my lunch.
Well, you should have left something for George.
Oh, what's the use?
You really must excuse her, George. You see, lately she hasn't been able to stop eating.
Yeah, I noticed she's very careless. She left a little gravy on your chin. Here, Harry, you can take this.
Yeah,
Take
but George,
this
I...
with-
Well,
Take
didn't-
this with you, too, Harry. Well, that phone call was from Gracie. She's at the auction. And knowing Gracie, I put my foot down. I said, don't you dare to buy one single thing. For once, you're coming home empty-handed. I very rarely get tough with Gracie, but when I do, she really pays attention. I guess when I put my foot down, she stepped all over it. Gracie, what is all this?
Oh, George, you know when I spoke to you on the phone and you said not to buy anything?
Yeah.
Well, there was so much noise at the auction, I couldn't hear a word you said.
Gracie, while you're in the kitchen, fix me something. Harry Morton ate my lunch.
All right, Harry, all right.
What's in this big package?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, George, wait till you see it. It's a portrait of the auctioneer.
A portrait of the auctioneer?
Yeah, I bought it because it's so lifelike. It's so real that when you see it, you swear it could speak to you.
Gracie, it's an empty frame.
Oh, well, maybe the picture fell out, huh?
Look, Gracie, when he sold this to you, did he hold it like this?
Yeah, but he never looked like that.
Gracie, let me ask you something. What do we want with this birdcage?
Oh, that was a bargain. Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah, but what do we want with a cage?
Well, you never can tell. We might find something to put in there.
Let's see, No, I guess it's too small. Look, Gracie, this is our home. This is not a warehouse.
Yeah,
Oh, come in.
Mr. Burns?
Yes?
Barney Dean.
Oh, Mr. Dean, we've been expecting you. Gracie, this is Mr. Dean.
how do you do, Mr. Dean? Sit down.
How do you do, Mrs. Burns?
Gracie, how about shaking hands?
Well, sure.
Mr. Dean, right there. There you are. Well, tell us a little about the picture.
Well, I'm calling it the Cavalcade of Vaudeville. And I want to include the highlights from the careers of some of our outstanding vaudevillians.
Well, it's a compliment to us that you're including us, Mr. Dean. Here, won't you have a cigar?
Oh, thank you. You're lucky, Mr. Burns. My wife doesn't like for me to smoke up her curtains and drapes.
Oh, well, she's silly. Why didn't she give you cigars?
You
were saying, Mr. Dean?
Well, I was saying what I really want are personal anecdotes. Little, interesting, experiences that you've had.
Oh, well, this sounds like it comes under the heading of business, so I always let my husband do the talking.
Thank you.
And,
see-
if more wives would take a lesson from me and do what I do, believe me, George and I'd be a lot happier.
Well, it started out to make sense. Look, Mr. Dean, I've got some scrapbooks upstairs. I'll go up and get them.
Well, that'll be wonderful.
I think they'll interest you.
Mrs. Burns, suppose we start from the beginning. Would you tell me something about those early days of your love life?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. Well, now, the first date I ever had with George, I took along my sister Bessie, and he took his roommate Flipper.
Flipper.
Yes, they did an act together. It was Flipper and George Burns.
Flipper and George Burns?
Yes, yeah. And, well, the one night night, the night that we went out,
Yeah.
we went to dinner and we ordered steak, and Flipper had 6 pounds of raw fish. And after dinner...
Wait a minute,
and-
Mrs. Byrne, now, just a minute, will you? Flipper had 6 pounds of raw fish.
Yes. Well, seals don't like steak. Well, anyway, after
wait,
dinner...
Flipper was a seal?
Well, certainly.
And your sister, she went out with a seal?
Only once. You see, that was because the man she was engaged to was out of town.
Yeah, he was lonesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute. I've got a picture in the den of George and Flipper. I'll show
Oh,
it to
I'd
you.
love
You
to see
love
that.
this.
Gracie, I can't find the scrapbook.
Mr. Burns, she's in the den.
What did you say, Mr. Dean?
I said you were in the den.
Yes, I know, and you're in the living room.
Tell her I can't find the scrapbook.
Okay, I'll tell her.
You don't have to. I know where I am.
What'd she say?
She said that she knows where she is.
Where she is, where's the scrapbook?
You know, Mr. Dean, it was so nice of you to worry about me, but in my own house, I never get lost.
Well, you worried me just the same.
Well, now, here's Flipper and George.
Oh, yeah.
That's Flipper.
This is Flipper
Yes.
here, yeah.
Come in. Is it good?
Gracie,
Oh, it's wonderful.
I just dropped by to bring the... Oh, I didn't know you had a gentleman calling.
Oh, Harry, that's not a gentleman calling. He's a writer. Mr. Dean, this is Harry Von Zell.
How do you do?
Bonzell, nice to see you.
Thank you.
Harry, would you talk to Mr. Dean? I'm fixing something for George's lunch in the kitchen.
You go right ahead, Gracie. Well, Mr. Dean... Dean, is that Barney Dean?
Well, there's been complaints.
Well, I am glad to meet you. Earlier, I drove Gracie home. She was telling me about you.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Well, I'm writing a picture about people in show business.
Uh-huh.
Hey, maybe you can help me. Did you know Mr. Burns before he was married?
Oh, sure.
You did?
Say, Mr. Dean, I could tell you plenty about George's bachelor days.
Yeah.
But you couldn't use it in a moving picture.
Really?
Too dull.
You known them long? I mean, since they've been married, a couple?
Oh, yes. I knew them before they were stars. I've known them since they were just another vaudeville act, and their billing was right down at the bottom of the poster. In fact, if the snow in front of the theater was over 6 inches high, you couldn't see their names.
Oh, that's the kind of stuff that I want.
Well,
How long has this been? How long?
Well, let's see. That was, I'm going back a lot of years. I wasn't with Carnation then. They were at Lowe's State in Cleveland, but I was using Carnation.
Carnation?
Oh, I was brought up on Carnation milk since I was a baby.
Yeah.
Well, 8 out of 10 mothers.
Mr. Bonzell, what about Burns and Allen?
Oh, yeah. Well, they love it. They've used it for years. Here, let me show you something here. This is very interesting. In the Life magazine, the one with Marilyn Monroe on the cover.
That's pretty, isn't it?
There's a beautiful Carnation ad in here in full color. Here we are, right here. See here?
Yeah.
How to make a richer, smoother, failure-proof cream sauce because it's made with Carnation evaporated milk. Just can't be made with ordinary bottled milk.
I know, but Mr. Bonzell, how about Burns and Allen, Lowe's State, Cleveland, remember?
That act they had a gag in the opening that always killed me, Mr. Dean. George would say, Gracie, a funny thing happened to my mother in Cleveland. And Gracie would say, well, George, I thought you were born in Buffalo.
That joke might be funny today.
Yeah.
Oh, George,
hello.
Hey, I didn't know you were here. How are you?
What is
That's a scrapbook from Mr.
Oh,
Dean.
thank
You
you.
excuse George. He hasn't had his lunch here.
Oh,
George.
thank you very, very much.
Right,
That's
sit
fine.
down.
All right.
Eat your lunch.
There you are.
Oh, looks good.
It does. Let me taste it.
Mm.
Hey, that's delicious.
Good.
Wonderful.
Oh, Mr. Burns, now, what is this here?
Oh, that's us at Proctor's Newark. Sophie Tucker was headlining that bill.
Is that right? Well, what's this?
That?
Oh, that's the Carnation cream sauce with ham and peas that I told you about here in Life magazine. Here it is, right here. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, that's, let me see what that is. That's at the Orpheum in San Francisco. Bill Robinson was the headliner.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, tell me now, what is this here?
All right, Harry. You
Yeah,
can
well,
take it.
this is the recipe, you see, that shows you how to make that. And it's so easy to make. Say, Gracie, isn't it easy to make this dish when you use Carnation?
Oh, it certainly is, Harry. sorry.
You wouldn't think you could make anything so good from leftovers.
No.
Well, anyway, that's at the Paramount Studios. We did a picture with it was called the Big Broadcast of 1936.
Oh, you made it with Bing Crosby.
No. She made it with carnation evaporated milk. When you make this cream sauce with carnation, you use only half as much butter and flour, you know. That's because carnation is doubly rich.
And here we are this is in Gloversville. Dan and Skank were the headliners.
Oh, no kidding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I didn't get finished yet. I wanted
Oh,
you to
yeah,
know
she's
that
got another finish.
carnation will perform cooking miracles not possible with ordinary bottled milk. Not even Van and Skank could do it.
No, that's us there.
Is this here? Well, here's one more I want to ask you.
Yes.
This one right here.
Oh, Paul Whiteman was the headliner right there.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see your name.
Well, it was snowing that day.
Well, Mr. Burns, I think I've got all the information I need. Thanks a lot. I had to get back to my office.
Well, look, Mr. Dean, why don't you take the scrapbook with you?
Well, thank you, if I may.
Okay. I'll tell Gracie. Gracie, Mr. Dean is leaving.
My photographer will be over in a little while to take some pictures.
Well, thank you very, very much, Gracie.
Goodbye,
Mr. Dean is
Mr.
going.
Dean.
Goodbye.
And I hope when you write your picture, you write a hit.
Well, thank you.
You know, I always say writers ought to do that because when they write a failure, it's never as popular.
That's what she always says.
Oh, it's so true.
Yes, it is.
I must tell you what Gracie just said. I said to her, Gracie, who do you think they'll get to play me in that picture? And she said if they were smart, they ought to get Marlon Brando to do the acting and Johnny Ray to do the singing. I said, you're kidding. She says, of course, you're better than both of them put together. And then she says, what would you have if you did put them together? Just a man crying because somebody tore a shirt. You know, it's nice to have a wife who thinks...
Mr. Burns?
Oh, are you the photographer Mr. Dean sent over?
Yes, Mr. Burns. My name is Walsh.
Oh, Mr. Walsh, put everything there, that's it. Gracie, the photographer's here.
Oh, I brought some hats along. I thought the pictures ought to have a sort of a vaudeville atmosphere.
Okay, good, that's it. Gracie, this is Mr. Walsh.
How do you do, Mr. Burns?
How do you
Let's
do?
see, maybe some... this will give me an idea. Well, I've got an idea for a picture. Hey, Gracie, will you take these hats?
All right.
We'll use these hats.
All right.
Now, you sit right there.
All right.
That's it. There you are. Let's try it the hard way, huh? Okay. Now, you put that on. Now, put your hands in your lap. That's it. How about this?
Oh, that's fine, fine. Now, just let me get this lined up. And then when I say okay, you look into the camera and smile.
And smile.
Huh?
Okay.
Say, George, while I was in the den, did the rest of the stuff come from the auction?
There's more stuff coming?
Mm-hmm.
Gracie, what are we going to do with that saxophone?
Oh, George. You know, the auctioneer told me that saxophone once belonged to Fritz Chrysler.
Fritz Chrysler?
Mhm.
Fritz Chrysler was a violinist. He never played a saxophone.
I know. That's why he sold it.
Look, Gracie, we don't need a
Smile.
Smile.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
a good one.
Good. Say, wait, I've got an idea.
Okay.
Here, help me with this table. Put this there. That's it. Now, would you just lift that up?
Okay.
Attaboy. Back here. And now, where's that Irish hat?
Oh.
Gracie used to do an Irish jig in vaudeville.
Uh-huh.
This might make a cute picture.
Oh, yeah, that
There
would
we
be
are.
kind of cute.
How about this?
That's fine. A little bit closer.
A little closer.
That's it.
Okay, there we are.
Oh, you know what else I bought at the auction? Forgot to tell you about it. I got a phonograph for my sister Hazel. Hers is broken and her goldfish are awfully unhappy about it.
The goldfish like music?
Oh, George, don't be ridiculous. No, Hazel puts the goldfish bowl on the phonograph instead of the record, and when it goes round and round, the fish gets their exercise without swimming.
Gracie, a phonograph costs...
Smile. That's
Okay,
fine.
good.
Do it.
Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to get a pose that suggests an exit.
An exit.
Uh-huh.
An exit.
Oh.
I think I've got it.
Look, how
That's
about
it. Get
this?
those canes. Here, why you take this.
All right.
We'll do sort of a Jimmy Durante thing.
How?
Fine.
Put this under there. The cane under there.
Like
The
that.
head up in the air. That's it, as we're leaving the stage. There you go. Is this all right?
Fine.
George, you know what else I bought at the auction? I got a vase. I got it very cheap because it had a hole in the bottom.
It had a hole in the bottom?
Yes. Well, you see, I'll just turn it upside down, put the flowers in it, and the hole will never show.
But, Gracie, it won't hold water.
Not to drink out of, just to put flowers in.
Look, Gracie, I wish you'd smile. Okay? That's it. Good.
Say, Mr. Walsh, be sure now and make me look pretty.
All right.
Ah, flatterer.
Mr. Burns.
Yeah?
I'd like to call my boss, Bonnie Dean. May I use the telephone?
Right in the living room.
Thank you.
Say, Gracie, you know, when you were posing there for a minute, it brought back a lot of memories.
Huh?
How about doing a little Irish jig?
Oh, when I did that was a long time ago.
Come on, do it for me.
I wouldn't do it for $1 million.
Oh, diddly 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 dumpty doodly diddly diddly dumpty diddly dumpty doodly diddly 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 diddly. George and Gracie will be back in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, here is the issue of Life magazine that has the recipe in that Gracie and I were talking about. It's the issue with a picture of Marilyn Monroe on the cover, and the recipe is on page 16. This is a delicious casserole dish of creamed sauce with ham and peas. And this cream sauce, of course, it's made with carnation evaporated milk, so naturally it's out of this world. And it's so easy to make. Here on your screen, you'll see you use a teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of flour, as she's doing there. Then you add 2 tablespoons of butter. And you stir the mixture over a low heat. Then you add 1 large can of carnation evaporated milk, continuing to stir the mixture until it comes to a simmer. Actually, this cream sauce is foolproof. It's so smooth, without lumps, and wonderfully rich. Now you add your peas and put in your diced ham. Mix it all in with that delicious cream sauce, and you have it all ready to serve. Come on, just pass your plates, everybody, and get ready to enjoy a feast. Really, I know you'll enjoy this cream sauce with ham and peas made the carnation way every bit as much as George and the rest of us do. Well, here's the recipe right here in Life magazine, and don't be fooled. Whether it's cream sauce or any recipe that calls for milk, you will get cooking miracles with carnation evaporated milk just not possible with any other form of milk. Carnation, the milk from contented cows. You try it in your cooking. And now here's Carnation's own contented couple, George and Gracie.
Thank you very much. Gracie and I will be back 2 weeks from tonight, and don't forget to watch that charming couple, Mary Healy and Peter Lynn Hayes. And by the way, on our next television show, our guest star is going to be Jack Benny.
Say, and George.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of him, saying Jack Benny is cheap, because it isn't true.
Oh?
That's just a vicious rumor started by a waiter who said that Jack left him a penny tip.
Jack left him. I don't believe that Jack would leave a penny tip.
Oh, then he is cheap, huh?
Good night, Gracie. Good night.
Appearing on tonight's show were Skeets Gallagher as Mr. Dean, Jan Arvan as the photographer, and Theodore Von Eltz as the best man. Next week, be sure to see Star of the Family, the Peter Lynn Hayes and Mary Healy show on most of these same stations. Now, this is Harry Von Zell saying good night for Carnation. This is the CBS Television Network.